to suggest applicable strategies and justifications to questions. Thirdly, we should be willing to use suggested approach to answer questions. All right? Into the meat of the matter. Last class, we would have looked a little at the changing roles in the family, roles of the family. So today, we want to focus on how to answer some CSEC questions. I know it's a sore point for many of us because, you know, when they ask us to suggest strategies and then justify it, we're saying like, how do I do all of this? Well, today we're going to ride along, and I want you to pay keen attention. It is important because if you don't get this part right, you lose a lot of marks, and we cannot afford that, all right? So let's go. What is a strategy? I want you to think about the government. When they're presenting strategies or they're presenting their manifesto, them come up with some grand, nice things, right? Now, a strategy is a plan of action. A what? A plan of action. And this plan of action is designed to achieve a specific goal. So first of all, when you're asked to suggest something, you want to know that you are going towards a specific goal. Right? A strategy must state clearly what is to be achieved and how it will be achieved. Let me say that again. A strategy must state clearly what is to be achieved and how it will be achieved. It is a framework for making a decision. So you have a strategy, you must know how you're going to work the strategy. It's a framework. It is something that is going to guide you to achieving a particular goal. Roger that? I believe in a roger that. Let's continue. Now, when you think about a strategy, what are some of the things that you must include? You have to think about the what, the who, and the how. The what, who, and the how. WWH. So when you're making a strategy, it's WWH. What is to be achieved? The target group. Who do you want to get to? That is important. The time frame in which the strategy is to be implemented, and that's the when. So it's actually WWWH. It's 3 W's and an H. So it's what, who, when, and how. So after you've thought about the what, the who, and the when, now we're going to say, how? How am I going to do this? When implementing the strategy, you have to think about human resources. And a pause here to say, that's the beautiful thing about social studies. It is just applicable right across your life. Because right now, if you're planning something, if you want to fast forward your life, if you want to know how you're going to get into college, if you want to know how you're going to get a job, strategy. Strategy is what we are looking at. Let's go now. So the how. The human resource that are required. So what are the basic skills, the talents, specialized knowledge that you will need? These are the intangible things, the things that you cannot touch. So when you're thinking about the how, that is important. Then you think about physical resources. What tools will you need? What equipment? What products? And we have in bracket there tangible, the things that you can touch. So for your strategy to be effective, you must think about these things. And remember the 3 W's and the H. WWWH. So remember the what, the who, the when, and the how. And again, this is applicable right across life. Though we are zoning in on how to answer questions in social studies, trust me, if you can process it in your space, it will make it easier for you to answer the questions because it is going to be so relatable. True? Yes, that is true. Continuing. Now, in social studies, we find that sometimes they have difficulty finding the right strategies. How I put that? How I come up with that? The thoughts are coming at us a lot. But we want to guide you in answering these strategies. First of all, there are broad categories to making suggestions. First of all is the social approach or the social category. A lot of things, once you have the knowledge, once you have been educated, you know what to do. Hence, under social, we have education. This is having the specialized knowledge, training, skills, information that you would need to implement your strategies, right? So that's the first thing. So I want you to think about, when you get to questions, can education be used as a guide to have this strategy be effective? Another social heading would be that of culture. When you're thinking again, is there anything that I can apply culturally that will guide in answering these questions? So when we think about culture, it is to develop a successful strategy, the values, norms, customs, traditions, behaviors, attitudes, and habits of a group of people. You must consider all of this when writing some of your questions. So if the questions would require you to take it from a cultural angle, then be mindful to include it in there, right? Another social perspective that we would like to take things from quite a bit in social studies is that of psychology or sociology perspective, right? In this regard, we think about persons' behavior. We think about their interaction in groups, why people respond, react, and how or why people make decisions will also impact the strategy, right? So we have to think about these things. So we said social, education, it can be cultural, and it can also be that of psychological or sociological, all right? So what is the other heading or other headings? Two headings we have here that you must consider when writing your strategies, that of economic or political. Let us zone in a bit on the economic. When you're writing your strategy, you must be wondering, will I need extra capital or will I need any at all? Will I need labor? Will I need income? So you want to think about these things when you're planning strategically or you're writing your questions. Remember, all of these headings may not be required based on the questions, but these are broad headings that you can keep in mind when writing because it will guide the way you will help to frame your strategies, right? Additionally, we have the political strategies. That would include government policy, laws, that is making them and enforcing them. So what are the three headings we say we must consider under the social arena? One, that of education. Then we look at cultural and psychological or sociological. Good? We also said, let us take into consideration economic factors. These may be thinking about labor, thinking about capital, thinking about income. If it is that of the political arena, you want to look at government policy, you want to look at laws. Would you need some laws to ensure that this strategy is properly enforced? That's the kind of way we want to skew your mind right now. Don't worry yourself, we're going to practice a few questions. And again, all these categories may not be required in a question. However, they are good to note when approaching your questions. Good? All right. Now, beautiful diagram we have here. I think we could give this to the police force. They would do well with this, right? The SWOT. SWOT method. When you're approaching your questions, you want to think about the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. The strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and the threats. And when you can process it from that, it will help you when you get to the justification part of the question, because you have to give a strategy and you also have to justify the strategy. So you want to think about the SWOT method when you are, or SWOT approach when you're answering your questions from time to time. Are you following me? I believe you're following me. I believe you are following me. All right. Tell me, Danisha, what SWOT means? SWOT. S is for strength. W is for weakness. Very good. And O is for opportunities. T, threats. See there? Don't know you have it. You have it locked. That is the same approach you're going to take when you're going to answer the questions with me. Right? Good. All right. Now, we looked at strategy. We defined what that is, and we also suggested some of the approaches that you would take. And I want to reinforce them again, because I believe in reinforcement. The more sometimes you tell me something, is the more it stick into the brain, and it have to stick, right? So we say the approaches or the strategies can be taken from that of a social, economic, or political. And not all of these approaches may be required for one question. However, bear them in mind when you are approaching, because it will help to guide the way you answer. It will help to guide the way you think. It will help you right through. So you're right there, jot down a little piece. All right, this could be an economic application. That could be a political way. That could be social. It helps you when you have the knowledge. Good? All right. So let us go into how do we justify a strategy? I think about this, and I see my students, they miss the justification part too hard. That's not necessary. Then they want strategy and they want justification. CSEC want too much. They want too much. That may be true. That may be true. However, some things in life we do have a choice about. They want us to justify. Let us justify very well. Let us justify as though we know what we're doing. Let us justify and get the best marks there is possible. Can we do that? Good. Now, how do we justify a strategy? We wrote our strategy and we say, yeah, the strategy are up, the strategy are going to make things blow up, the strategy are going to go far. But how do we justify that nice, substantial strategy? Let's go. What is justification? Justification is a reason or reasons given to accept a strategy at being reasonable, realistic, and or achievable or feasible. I want you to read with me again. Let us go again. A justification is a reason or reasons given for accepting a strategy as being reasonable, realistic, and or achievable or feasible. You have many R's. So in case you're not sure what that word means, you know what another word means. In essence, your justification is just your why. Why? Why will this strategy work? Why will this strategy make any sense? Tell me. That is what CSEC is asking of you. And don't just tell me say it will work because that you think about. You have to be substantial about it. Why? Reasonable. Why will we need this to get to that point? That is what they're asking of us, right? Now, the most important question to be answered in a justification is why? Oh, wow. Beautifully, why? Why this group? Why at this time? Why this place? Also ask, on what basis can this strategy be accepted? Can this strategy be contradicted? And not even running ahead of myself, because you see this justification part, it is important. Some of us have some lazy brain, but you have to lick it and say, wake up. Because when you wake up the brain, you find that some juices will flow through you that will allow you to find your whys. Your whys even in your very own life. So we want to know our whys. So our justification again is the why. Why will this strategy work? Why should the government come up with a crime plan? Why? We need it? Yes, we more than need it. And then you're not going to just say that. You're going to tell CSEC, without an effective crime plan, then our economy will be in shambles. There will be more fear on the island, and then we will have senseless killing. We're going to be losing loved ones for no reason. And you explain yourself in such a format that will give you the right points. Good? All right. Let's practice. We're going to spend some time practicing answering questions, justifying those questions. I'm going to go to the whiteboard. Make sure that you have your pens. Make sure that you have your pencils. Make sure that you have whatever writing material, because you are going to write. We are igniting the bubbles in our brains because it is important. All right. I want you to help me to bring up the first question on the screen right now, because they are going to be following me as we go along. All right? Now, what is our first approach to answering any question at all? First approach. First of all, I want you to thoroughly, I can't say it enough, thoroughly read over the question. Don't rush it. Do not rush it. Do not rush it. Thoroughly read over the question. In CSEC, you're given some margins in your booklet. Jot down the thing properly. Underline the key things that are being asked of you. Read the question 2 or 3 times and take a deep breath, then begin to approach. Following me? All right. Let us have that question again. I saw it come up. Thank you very much for working with me, technical team. So the first question says, Mr. and Mrs. Brown were married for 9 years, all of 9 years. And the marriage ended in divorce. Remember, we learned what divorce is. Good? The family court is helping them to settle the issue of alimony. That word never come up before. I never did teach on it. But I know I have some brilliant children in this class. I know I have some brilliant young men in this class. I know some of them, when they hear alimony, they might say, oh, miss, me now make no girl take me for the fool. You think me again no girl my money? And I'm going to say, no, you're not going to do that. You're speaking about your wife. You're speaking about ladies. Let us gather ourselves. And then you're going to have some ladies here, oh, miss, some of them boy, I want woman mind them, and me not mind them, and I mind no man. No. Let us do this in love. And you're going to have to calm down the class. So the term we have there is alimony. Alimony. Good? How do we define alimony? Right? You must at all times ensure that you answer your questions using sentences. Sentences. Right? So, you would start off by saying, alimony is. Truth? Alimony is. And you write that part and you're on your way. So you're going to fill that out with me now. Alimony is financial responsibility. Following me? Financial responsibility that a spouse has to take on as dictated by the court. Dictated or ordered by the court. During a separation or after a divorce. So in essence, is the money that you have to pay to your spouse after you separate or after you get a divorce. The court may order, because it depends on the money that you have, right? Worse if you're not signing a prenup, you know that the money, your assets, everything have to take into consideration. And it don't matter your gender. If it's the woman have more money, then the lady would have to give it to the man. The court says so, so it's go. If it's the man has more money, then the man will have to do that. And it's not only money, as I said, it's financial assets, all of that. Financial responsibilities, taking care of the children, making sure that the house is taken care of, probably have to give half of your estate. That is what the court orders. and you would write that in sentence. I also want you to pay attention to the marks assigned. Let us look at the question again. I want you to pay attention to the marks assigned to each question, because sometimes we're writing, and we lose the essence of it. This question is worth 2 marks. 2 marks. So you write that in sentence and you're good to go. That is part A1. Let us go to 2. Domestic violence may lead to divorce. From your ear domestic violence, I know some of you know what that means, don't? It's aggression and abuse in the household. And this may not only be, I know we're accustomed to men abusing women, but we have women that abuse men. So domestic violence is not gender bias. It is within the house. From it happened, right? So the question is now asking you, what are some other things that may cause a breakup in a marriage? What are some things? And look again, it's 2 marks. 2 marks. So you would answer your question by saying 2 other conflicts that may lead to breakdown in the marriage. Don't mind the writing, you'll write better. I'm going a little fast, but I know. And you would say R. Good? Let me hear from you. What are your R? Tell me some things. I know you live into a real world. What are some of the things that you see causing marriages to break down outside of domestic violence? Good? Raise your hand. Bun. Yes, I true. Bun. But give me the right name for bun. What would be the correct term when you get the bun and you know, so I'm not stay into this bun, I am leaving? What is that? Infidelity. Very good, very good. Clap yourself. Wanna really go on good. Help me spell it. My God, my brain take a freeze. Lower yourself for catching it. Infidelity. So it's spelled, don't? Infidelity. I think it's so. It look rightish. If it don't right, please rub it out and do the correction. Right? But infidelity is one. I think it look wrong. Next one. We may also have financial problems. Financial problems. Problems. Infidel. Yes, this look more like it a bother me. If I spell something wrong and it bothering you, I feel like, is it bothering me? But I think this is the right way now. All right, so it may be infidelity or financial problems that can cause a breakdown in marriage. You would list that and you would get your 2 marks. Bam, bam, 2 marks. Let us go to the next question now. What else is required of us? When we're answering the questions, we take our time and we break it down. Next, describe 2 types of family in the Caribbean. This may even not write from the board because I know you have this. We've done this and you know the types of family. But what I want you to pay attention is the word describe. Describe. When you're asked to describe something, it requires depth. It requires some amount of detail. With that being said, you can't just write single parent family, extended family. You cannot. You have to now say what is an extended family or what is a single parent family. Tell us how it is made up. Give us the details. And I guarantee you will get the mark. I see you doing that. I am not writing that one on the board because I know you know how to do that one. All right? Let us go to the other question. Are you following me? Everybody following me? Now, this is the part that we're going to be focusing on a bit. Let me clean up my board a little bit. Read that question for me, dear. John, read that question for me. Read it aloud. All right, good. Suggest 3 strategies that an association for the protection of families may use to reduce the incidence of domestic violence in the family. Right. Now, here is where we're focusing on, right? So we went through A, but you see, this is the key part. It's all of 6 marks. And when you go to the part 2 of it, you realize that it's another 6 marks. If you miss all of 6 marks, how you going to manage? What you going to tell your mother, say? You cannot afford to fail. Good? Now, 3 strategies. That's the first thing that you're going to have to note. You need 3 strategies. You underline your 3 on your paper. After that now, three what kind of strategies? All right. Now, these strategies, how can I help to reduce domestic violence in the family? And we would have outlined what domestic violence is, right? Give me an idea. Yes. Yes. All right. Very, very good. Very, very good. So the first strategy I heard there is to charge them, charge them, lock them up. So the association, I would suggest, 1, lobby for stricter, STRIC, legal punishment, right? Now, you are going to have to make sure that it is not just you lick me in my face and it's $5,000 you pay. No, a woman or a man that is involved in domestic violence should think quickly. Think quickly and say, all right, if I hit her or if I hit him, I will have to end up pay $500,000 and spend at least 6 months in jail. When you think about $1 and it's $500,000, you should not want to do it because you don't have it. And if you have it, you don't want to waste it. So I agree with you. So that would be your first strategy, to make sure that you lobby for stricter legal punishment. Very good. Another strategy I hear coming out is there. Provide shelter. Okay, very good. Provide shelter. Provide shelter for the abuse. SHELTER. Come spelling brain. Come up. I was never a bad speller, but it looked like the brain and go down, but I pick it up. All right, so we are going to provide shelter for the abuse. And that is the association. So whether they're going to have to do fundraising, there are some persons at home. If they don't get out now, they are going to die there. And that would help them to get away from the abuse. Next thing. Oh, wow, very good. You're looking at the social aspect, which is to educate. Oh, very good. So this would be political, social, and social again. So we're going to educate the public, educate persons about the harm of domestic violence with the hope that things will get better. All right, very good. Now you have your strategies. You outline them, you wrote them in sentence format, and you now have to justify. You see the part that says, explain why each strategy would work. Under each strategy, you would be required to justify. Let us use the red one. Justify. And we say the justify is the why. Justify. Justify. That is the why. W-H-Y. Don't forget that. Why? Why will these strategies work? Right? You are now going to say, I believe this strategy would work because if persons are aware that the fee for abuse or domestic violence is hard, and in addition to that, they will have to spend time in prison or jail, they will more than likely not want to do it. It will help to decrease the rate at which it is happening. Right? True. Good. The next one, provide shelter for the abuser. That is a very good strategy coming from you, Tyreek. I appreciate it. Now, this strategy you would justify by saying it would work because persons would have a safe place to get away from all the abuse that is happening around them. And in the meantime, they would be able to heal because they would be getting counseling. They would be able to heal. And with all the education and knowledge, they would not go back to such a place, we could hope. Right? Good. And then the third one, educating the public, educating the mass about domestic violence. This would definitely allow persons to be more sensitive, allow more persons to be aware. You could have testimonials of persons who almost died because of domestic violence. It would have to touch something inside of you. When you think about the fact that this may be your daughter, this could have been your son, it would appeal to your emotions. And with this knowledge, it would help you to lessen domestic violence within the home or the family. Are you following me? Are you following me? You're getting the strategy and the justification there? And I hope you're practicing, because this is going to be your main homework today. All right? Bring me up onto the next question, please. All right. So we're doing 2 questions quickly today. We would have done one already. And we want to look at another. And these questions are based on the topics that we would have done already. Let us go ahead and read. Sam lives with his parents, sister and grandmother. His mother, who used to be a housekeeper, is now an accountant. His father, who is a land surveyor, now does a share of the household chores. Each member has an important role. And I know you would have read that properly and know that you would have understood what is going on. So we're moving. A. 1 mark, pay attention again. Identify the type of family which Sam comes from. That's what it's asking you. From your parents, sister, grandmother, what type of family you would see there? Very good, extended, because the grandmother would shift the dynamics of that. Easy, you write that down? Easy points, 1, 2. Next one, it is going to be asking you now, what would be one of the role of the grandmother in the family? We looked at that last week. Yes, Shaquisha, tell me, what would be one of the role of the grandmother in the family? To take care of you, very good. To pass down the culture, very, very good. And write that, bam, 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 1 mark easily. All right, the next one, state 2 factors that may have caused the mother's role to change in the household. Now, in writing this, you would have to say factor 1. CSEC would give you that. Factor 1, factor 2. In writing your factors, in writing your factors, you would have to make sure that you say, all right, one of the reasons it could have changed is that the household now needed extra income. Extra income, and you would write that. All right? Another reason is that the woman perhaps desired to be more independent, perhaps desired to be more educated, and that could have caused a change in the role. Desire for greater independence, right? Independence. Oh, wow, proud of me, I spelled that right. Greater independence or education. All right, next question we're going on to now. And this part of the question, again, we have to pay attention. This is 4 marks. You can't afford to give that away. 2 reasons why Sam's father may think that his traditional role in the family is changing. And I hope you're connecting last week to this week. Why may he think his traditional role in the family is changing? 1, because Sam's dad is now helping with household chores. Before that, Sam's dad would just go, as he said, was a land surveyor, would go out, bring in the money, and that's it. Him come get him hot, nice meal and sit down and make sure mommy and the children are taken care of financially, right? Another reason Sam's father may think that the traditional role in the family is changing is because he's now not the sole breadwinner. There are 2 persons that are merging income to make sure that the family is properly sustained. So 1, there is another breadwinner in the family, and 2, we find that he is now helping out with household chores. All right, let us go to the next part of the question. Suggest giving full details, and you see the three out come out at you. 3 actions parents may take to deal with any negative effects of the changing roles of family members, right? 3 effects. Changing roles in family members. Daddy is now helping with household chores. Daddy is helping to cook. Daddy is helping to clean the bathroom. Daddy is helping with assignments. Mommy is gone driving somewhere, working out. Mommy is disciplining. What are some of the things that we could help this family to better cushion and deal with the changing roles in the family, right? And again, you have to ensure that you write in, say it, sentences. Very good. So, you write your 3 roles, 3 factors. You're going to make sure that 1, action 1, CSEC gives it to you as I say. Action 1, I would say, ensure that they communicate effectively about the changes taking place. So communicate about the changes. Communicate, very good, about the changes. Because, and then right now we justified quick and fast. So we said justify this. Why would this work? This would work because when persons understand what is happening, they are better able to adjust. When they know what is happening, they're better able to adjust, hence making the roles or the responsibilities in the family easier to manage. Second one, sometimes it is so hard. It goes beyond the scope of the family. They can seek counseling. Yes, man, you have counselors that can help to steer you in the right direction. C-O-U-N-S-E-L. Well done, my child. Seek counseling. They can seek counseling that will help to assign duties properly, that would help them to understand that there is no work that is demeaning in the family. It would guide their path. And the third one, I would suggest, is that they have regular family time, regular family meetings. In these family meetings, then they would break down what is happening. 3, regular, very good, family meetings. Well done, well done. You guys are doing well. You are really doing well. And with these meetings, again, you would justify. You would justify. Why would these help? Persons would now begin to understand that, okay, we are a family, and though the roles are changing, we have to ensure that we work together. And if we meet on a regular basis, and I say that Daddy is helping to cook, it's not that he's less than Mommy. Mommy is going to make some money. It's not that Mommy is taking charge of everything. No, it would now bring the family to one understanding under one unit that would help them to deal with the changing roles within the family. Very good? All right. Now, for your assignments, you want to make sure that you go over these. Practice. Write them in sentences. Make sure you do that. Look at the words describe. Look at the words suggest, justify, strategy. And you're going to practice and make sure that you do a very good job. And when I check your books next week, I am expecting some very good strategies and justifications. All right? You have been very great. Give yourselves a round of applause. I know you're getting some ones. We've come to the end of the lesson. I hope you understand the topic and have a great appreciation for answering essay-type social studies CSEC questions. If you have any questions, send them to Television Jamaica's Facebook page at Television Jamaica or Instagram at Television_Jamaica, or use the hashtag TVJClassTime, and we'll address them in the next class. Cape Chemistry for Grade 12 students is after the break. Thank you very much.
It's here. Interactive classes for all ages on the School Time channel on onespotmedia.com. With a combination of live Zoom classes and recorded class time, schools not out lessons, and numerous educational content, we've created a comprehensive 24-hour channel dedicated exclusively to educating our nation's youth. Early childhood through to primary, secondary and tertiary, it's one stop on one spot for education 24 hours. Brought to you by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information in association with Television Jamaica Limited.